Well, first of all, appreciate everybody coming today. I'll be honest with you, the only thing that really disappointed me in the game on Saturday was we didn't win the game. I mean, when you're a competitor, you always get disappointed if you don't win. Realistically, we knew what we were going against a very good football team in a Power 5 conference that's playing at a very high level right now. I thought that our guys competed extremely hard. Even when the game got out of balance, I thought we actually started playing harder, if that is a good thing, which I think it is. Athletically, I was really pleased that I thought, especially at certain positions, that we held our own athletically with those guys. Where probably the biggest difference was the point of attack. They were a whole lot bigger than us on the lines. Very well coached, and I think that's where the game that's where it's won each and every week. But I think that was where the biggest difference was at that deal. And then the other thing is, I just thought that they executed at a very, very high level in their game plan, and at times we didn't execute quite as well. I kind of used the analogy with the team yesterday. Is I like to play golf in the summertime, and I'm shoot about 80, somewhere right around there, so average, depending on who you're playing with. But when you go play golf and you're playing golf against a guy that's better than you, what you tend to do, you start tending to try to overswing. Boy, he's hitting it 50 yards further than you, so you start trying to swing a little bit harder. You start trying to go for greens and 2 on par 5s when you know you can't get there, just to try to keep up with them. And then you find yourself on the back 9 that he's got such a big lead over you, you got no chance of winning. Whereas if you went out and just played your game from the start and you get to the back 9, you're still within striking distance. Not saying you're going to beat the guy, but you're still within striking distance. And the first part of the ball game, I think we were trying to go for greens in 2. We knew we couldn't reach. And then the game got a little out of hand. And then we started doing what we were supposed to do, and we played a lot better. So that was a good lesson by our guys. Again, it was one of those games. If we played the very best we played, and they played the very worst that they played, they probably still won the game. It was just they had that much depth and that good of players. But we take a lot of positives out of the game. I thought that special teams-wise, actually, I thought, if you were to chalk it up, I thought we won that battle. We did kick the ball in the back of our shield one time. That was no doing of them. That was just our doing it to ourselves. Other than that, we really played well in that area. I was really pleased. I thought that pass defense, we had guys there by the receiver. We didn't necessarily tackle them every single time, but we were there. And then and I thought that our wide receivers, they were not intimidated at all by those corners, and they made some really good plays outside. So again, a lot of positives from the game, in my opinion, even though the score was a lot to a little. And I think that our guys understand that. I think that they came out of the game feeling good considering the outcome of the ball game. Any questions?
How did y'all come out of the game physically?
Well, we didn't have anybody, I don't think will miss substantial time this season. Perry Cooper's banged up, Roman Clay's banged up, and Jalen Harrington he's got an arm problem, and Hunter Kingston's hurt his leg. But I don't think anybody will be out for the next game as it stands now. Now, we'll hold them, probably all those guys, from practice this week and know a little bit more on Monday. But all in all, physically, I thought we held up really well.
You touched on the receivers. Talk about Davis. 2 touchdowns against the bigger, faster team. He was a guy that really played well, and he's played well all season long, the first 2 games.
Well, Janowski's a good player. We've said he practices hard. He wants to be the next Walter Powell type guy coming in. He played well, had a big game. Jeremy Harness, he had a big game. Jesse Blackburn had a big game. Navarre Griffin played extremely well out wide. All those guys, I mean, they play well. Just, Janowski was on the first touchdown. He just happened to be the side we threw it to. We ran what we call the polecat, and they didn't know how to line up to it, and we could have thrown it to either receiver, and they would have both probably scored on it. So, but he's playing at a high level, and that's good to see. All those guys played at a very high level.
And he's got some explosiveness too.
Yeah, he had when he got in the open field the other day, I didn't realize that he could run that fast, and he was moving good. And I thought that our running backs, man, they ran extremely hard. I mean, those gaps were closing up pretty quick. I mean, that defensive front they had is pretty salty, and I thought that those skill guys played really well.
Discuss your two quarterbacks. KD did very well. Two quarterback system. You're still happy with where you are?
Well, first of all, I want to say that because I know where you're going, Neil. You're trying to throw one in the side door on me right there, and then on the quarterback deal with that. So we'll go and nip. We'll go and nip this one in the bud for you there, Neil. Let's just make sure that, and I told Bidwell this morning on the radio that. All the media, you guys think, every other position you rotate guys in there, but you think there always should just be one quarterback. The positions are open every week. I mean, we go who practices the best plays on the weekend, okay? And now, since I've been here, you don't see that change as much at positions because we just don't have that much depth, okay? Previous schools, you would change every week. Well, this guy practiced the best. You're going to go out there and play. Now we're building that depth, so I'm really pleased with that. But the positions are all open. All of our players know that. This is a good week for something like that to have happened. With KD coming in and playing well, so we'll even those reps up this week between CJ and KD. Whereas when we're in game week, the starter gets the majority of the reps, okay? So I guess what I'm saying a little bit is once we name a guy, sometimes it's harder for him to get beat out during practice because we're not giving the QB as many reps as we would a wide receiver or a DB. That was a backup. So we're going to let both of those guys battle this week, and more so than ever before. Now, in CJ's defense, I thought he played okay. Thought we missed some reads, missed some things. But the game, they had their starters in the game. The game was still in balance. I mean, the game had not gotten out of hand at that time. KD comes in. They got the backups in the ball game. Game's out of hand. I'm sure their team was ready to go home to a certain extent. So it was two different things. Now, when KD came in, he played really well. I mean, he looked out of sight. So we'll kind of have to see where that goes. But again, we'll look at it from the standpoint. I think we got two good QBs. I said that from day one, and I said it's been a very close race from the get-go. And then plus, everybody likes the backup quarterback. I mean, that's the best job to have in football because, number one, nobody, unless the starting QB is completing every ball, everybody's, we ought to play your backup. You ought to play your backup. You ought to play your backup. You ought to play your backup. And then when you do put the backup in, he's got no pressure on him because if he plays bad, well, man, I ain't been getting any reps all week. How you expect me to go out there and play good? So that's just the way life is. When you're the starting QB, everybody wants the backup to go in the ball game, and that's just how you media folks are, especially you, Will, and all the fans are. But long and short of it is, they're both going to get a lot of reps this week, and we'll just play it by ear. But fortunately for us, we do have two guys that I think are playing at a fairly high level. Does that answer it for you, Neil? That just makes sure that nobody else asks the same question.
Defensively, can you tell much about your team in the two games with the two levels?
Yeah, I'll tell you this. I thought we played better, and you guys, again, their backups are still pretty good, okay? I thought we played better against Louisville than we did against Union, all the way across the board, okay? Look, I mean, they had those backs. I mean, we were there to make plays, and we bounced off of them. Against backs like that, if you don't take the right angle, you're in for a long night. And I mean, and we're talking about the right angle. I mean, you miss by 6 inches, you're not gonna make the tackle. You know, we knew going in the game that the only way we were going to be able to stop that run is we had to load the box up. If we load the box up, then we're one-on-one out wide, okay? But I thought we did a lot of good things. The couple big plays we gave up is what I was talking about. We were trying to swing too hard. We feel like, man, I gotta get my head in there to try to make the play, and then we leave the tight end open or don't cover the quarterback. I think we're going to be good there. I actually think we're better on defense than we've ever been. Now, statistically, that does not show that. Score-wise, does not show that. But I think we're better than we've been in a long time on that side of the ball.
So kind of a good week to get this break, then, it sounds like. I mean, especially since you have so many positives you can build off of going into the bye week and then getting ready for Western Michigan next week.
Well, I do. I like to have an off week early in the season. You know, we got, especially this year, we got a bunch of young players, okay? You know, these first 2 ball games were big on let's find out who we are, what do we do good, who's going to play well. You know, one thing that was a positive to me is instead of having 35 guys that were nervous going into the game, we only had 2 or 3 this week. So, you know, we've improved in that area from all the freshmen getting their feet wet out there playing in big-time ball games. So we will use this week, of course, to prepare for Western Michigan, work on fundamentals. But this will be a good week for us to work. We had an older team. We may give them a few extra days off this week. We need the work. We need to hone in on some things that have been glaring weaknesses these first 2 weeks for us.